Hi, I'm Charles with AniCap. The story begins as a woman enjoys a peaceful night out. However, her husband collapses on the ground and she does as well. Chaos ensues as cars crash and an airplane falls from the sky. Elsewhere, a group of young children run through the streets as people collapse around them. An announcement states that a deadly virus has spread to punish humanity for its foolishness. There is no cure and the human race will perish. However, it is clear that the virus does not infect children 13 years old and younger. The group of children are then found and captured. 4 years pass and we see that all children are being treated like prisoners under the watch of mysteriously cloaked men. One of the boys from earlier is named Yuichiro and another is named Mika. Inside the facility, we see that all children are having their blood drawn. Yuichiro refuses to drink the disgusting beverages that are given to them and exclaims that Mika should stop doing as they are told also. Mika points out that it's not so bad there since they get to live, but Yuichiro refuses to be treated as livestock. A couple of children are knocked aside by the robed men, and Yuichiro refuses to let it go. He demands that the man apologize and tells Mika to quiet down when he begs for his release. The man prepares to kill Yuichiro but stops when the noble Lord Ferret arrives. Ferret reminds Mika that he will be taking his blood later and asks if his friend will be coming as well. Mika explains that he won't and the two leave. Yuichiro claims that he would have beat the robed man, but Mika reminds him that they are all vampires and no human is stronger than they are. Yuichiro explains that you won't know until you try, and then asks how Mika knows Ferret. Mika explains that he allows Ferret to take his blood, and in exchange he is given good food and other items. He believes that in order to survive in that place they're in, they have to use their head and be smart. Yuichiro doesn't like what he hears and goes off on his own. He is found by his friend Akane, and she wonders what the two best friends are arguing about. She wants him to open up and reminds him that everyone from their orphanage is family. We then get a glimpse back into the past. It's Yuichiro's first day at the orphanage and he is having a hard time accepting the other children as family. He explains that he only came there because he was almost killed by his father. His mother screamed about him being a demon child and took her own life. Mika persisted about being family though, and Yuichiro wakes from his daydream. He would later return home to find that Akane is cooking everyone a very special dish. She explains that she was only able to do it because of the really good food Mika brought earlier. Yuichiro knows who he got them from though and can't bring himself to eat. Later that night, Mika returns home and Yuichiro explains that everyone enjoyed the curry. He states that next time he will be the one to give blood, but Mika says that he should just stick to trying to beat the vampires up. This only upsets Yuichiro though, as he explains that Mika shouldn't take all the burden on his own. He begins to admit that the vampires can't be defeated, but Mika reminds him about how much the others look up to him and believe him when he talks about defeating the vampires one day. Mika then surprises Yuichiro with a map of the city and gun for defeating the vampires. He explains that he is no fool that would just give the vampires his blood for free and took the items from Ferret's mansion. Mika then states that it's time for them to escape and that they shouldn't worry about the disease since it doesn't affect those under the age of 13. Akane comes to join them and Yuichiro agrees to his idea. Later that night, the group of children make their way through the city and Yuichiro explains to everyone that they're going somewhere they can eat curry every night. Their journey is dangerous though, as there are vampires everywhere. A look at the map shows that they only need to walk a few more steps to get to the exit. Before they get there though, Ferret reveals himself and explains that he has been waiting. The man revels in being able to see the face humans make when their hopes are suddenly taken away. He reveals that it's actually a game he likes to play, and Mika now knows that he fell for a trick. Ferret begins his merciless attack and pauses to offer a bit of hope. He explains that the map they have is actually real, and if they run straight ahead, they can go back to their world. Yuichiro begs for the others to run, and instructs Mika to help him stop Ferret. However, they are no match for his speed, and can only beg him to stop as he attacks the group. Mika once again reminds Yuichiro that they are family, and takes the gun in preparation for an attack of his own. Ferret easily stops him, but Yuichiro manages to retrieve the gun and shoots Ferret. Mika wants Yuichiro to hurry and run, but he refuses. He realizes that he finally has a family now and tries his best to bring Mika. Mika demands that he leave, and once Yuichiro does, he realizes that it is the first time he has called them family. Yuichiro screams in agony as he runs, only stopping after he falls. A group of men find him and explain that it's just like the prophecy said. Their leader explains that they will be using him to get rid of the vampires, and Yuichiro states that he is ready to exterminate them all. 4 years go by and we see that Yuichiro is now a teenager. A monster appears nearby and some other soldiers warn that he should leave. Yuichiro scoffs at the idea though. He has plans to defeat all vampires and refuses to run from a small fry monster. Yuichiro demonstrates exceptional swordsmanship in defeating the beast, but we will later find that he has been suspended for violating orders. Yuichiro must now attend a normal school, and his bad attitude makes a teacher threaten to have him suspended from the school as well. Yuichiro would actually like to be suspended, but a girl behind him named Shinoa reveals that she is an army surveillance officer. She threatens to report him to the army if he is uncooperative. Yuichiro then calms himself, and Shinoa reveals that the suspension will go on until he is able to make a friend. A glimpse into the past shows how surprised Yuichiro was to find other humans. He had always been told that the human race was annihilated, but the man explains it isn't true. The population was reduced to 1/10 by the virus, but humans still exist. He explains that humanity's resurrection has already begun, and his organization is gathering remnants of humanity to take control of the world. This man is Gurren, and he is the lieutenant colonel of the Japanese Imperial Demon Army. Yuichiro's hate for the vampires was clear, and Gurren offers him the power to take revenge. Back to the present, students go get ice cream after class, and Shinoa recommends that Yuichiro ask if he can go along. She knows all about how a vampire killed his family, and now he is too afraid to get close to anyone else. Yuichiro is tired of playing games and demands that she tell Gurren to hurry up and enlist him into the vampire extermination unit. A note from Gurren explains that they don't need someone that can't make a friend or a girlfriend in the army. Yuichiro refuses to be mocked and leaves, but finds that Shinoa is following him around. A kid named Yuichi is getting bullied nearby, and Yuichiro ignores it so that he can head home. Shinoa explains that he won't make friends that way, and one of the bullies tells Yuichi that he should work for them and behave like livestock. Yuichiro returns to stop the bullies and simply asks if they would like to fight. Shinoa explains that fighting will get his suspension extended, and he gets punched. Without being able to fight, they must get the bullies some snacks, but Shinoa refuses to help. Yuichi tries to explain that he wasn't actually being bullied and only asked the group's leader named Yamanaka for help. Yuichi explains that he failed the Demon Army entrance exam, but really wants to join. Yuichiro is surprised to hear that Yamanaka is a potential recruit for the Moon Demon Company and explains that not even he was accepted by them. Yuichi hoped that Yamanaka might have a connection that would help him get another chance at the exam. He explains that his sister was killed by a vampire while she was trying to protect him. He was too weak to do anything then and now wants to take revenge. Yuichiro states that he would have only died if he tried to help, and recommends against joining the army since he is too much of a wimp. Just then, a building explodes and an announcement reveals that a vampire has escaped from a research facility. Shinoa plans to contact the Moon Demon Company, but Yuichiro explains that she won't need to. He will kill the vampire and finally have Gurren acknowledge him. Yuichiro retrieves a sword and hears a woman scream nearby. Yamanaka is frozen in the corner, and Yuichiro greets a vampire for the first time in 4 years. He doesn't hesitate to attack, but the vampire is too fast. Yuichiro manages to take her arm though, and uses the time to ask Yamanaka to escape with the girl. He is terrified though, and explains that everything about him being a soldier recruit was a lie. The vampire continues her attack, and Yuichiro manages to deal some damage. However, she quickly heals and explains that the fight will truly be over when she recovers her strength after drinking the girl's blood. Just then, Yuichi shows up to stop her, and Yuichiro commends him on his bravery, but the vampire uses that moment to push him out the window. He manages to pierce her with his sword, but she reveals it won't kill her, and she will drink his blood instead. However, Gurren arrives and plunges into her with the cursed sword. She is defeated, and Yuichiro is complimented for his bravery and his ability to prevent more casualties. Yuichiro takes this moment to demand he be accepted into the Moon Demon Company, but Gurren refuses, explaining he doesn't want someone that can't work with a team. Gurren still wants him to make a friend, but Yuichiro explains that those aren't needed for defeating vampires. However, Yuichiro arrives to embrace him, and Shinoa states that Gurren must keep his promise since it seems Yuichiro has made a friend after all. Later, Yuichiro explains how he always sees his past when he closes his eyes. Mika is glad to see that Yuichiro has found a friend and states that he is too kind of a person to only live a life for revenge. He wakes in the hospital, and Shinoa explains that he has been assigned to the vampire extermination unit. Yoichi has as well, making the three of them comrades, and Yuichiro reluctantly joins hands with them. Later, Yuichiro is approached by the girl he saved, who explains that she likes him and gives him a note further explaining her feelings. Shinoa watches and wonders if he is going to break her heart. She warns against it though, and explains the importance of humans getting together. Much of the human population was wiped away by the virus, and monsters continue to dwindle their numbers. The world is no longer human-friendly, so the demon company heavily encourages breeding. Yuichiro wants to know why he must still attend school, but Shinoa doesn't know and simply informs him that his training for the extermination unit has already begun. She demonstrates the power that will come from training by summoning the demon she has a contract with. He is also amazed by her cursed weapon that can kill vampires with its curse. Yuichiro believes that is all he needs to be able to have his revenge and demands that she give it to him. She explains that he won't be able to use it, but he still wants a demonstration of her power. She commends him for his strong effort, but reveals that fighting a cursed weapon with a regular weapon is hopeless. She shows just how much a difference it makes, and he is amazed again. Shinoa says that a strong weapon will only do so much since normal vampires are armed as well. Yoichi interrupts them as he is being chased, and Yamanaka explains that he would like to become their disciple. Yuichiro can't respect them after what they had done, but Yamanaka explains that he needs their help. Their friend Yuji went inside the Forbidden Chamber and he never came back. Shinoa is upset to hear that they broke into the army's Class 1 restricted area, and explains that whoever enters it receives a very severe punishment. She states that he has probably been captured by the army and the death penalty is a possibility. Shinoa would later say that the Forbidden Chamber is one of the 7 wonders of the school, but in reality it is a training facility for the vampire extermination unit. If anyone untrained entered, they could get possessed by the demon that resides there. They head to the chamber and Shinoa goes on to explain that the entire school is actually a training area. A demon is kept below the school and those that are unaffected by the demon's evil energy are pulled into the unit. Basically, the purpose of the school is to conduct a large-scale human experiment. Shinoa expects that the demon must have consumed Yuji's heart by now and that he has turned into a man-eating demon with no intellect. She brought them there to demonstrate the power of a cursed weapon, but Yuichiro wants to fight. He desperately wants to get power and doesn't care if it comes from a demon or a devil. He enters to find Yuji standing in a room, and Shinoa tells him to watch from a distance and not do anything. They are supposed to wait for backup, but Yuichiro realizes that the axe in Yuji's hand has no contract yet. He wants the axe, but taking it from Yuji won't be that easy. His efforts are stopped by Shinoa, who explains that he will only end up turning into a demon if he touches the axe. She assures him that he will lose the fight since he is not ready to fight a demon. Demons feed on people's dark desires, and they will take advantage of his desire for revenge. This is the main reason Gurren has refused to give Yuichiro a cursed weapon. However, this only motivates him even more. He leaves his sword behind and quickly takes hold of the axe. Once he does, he's shocked to find that he is back in his childhood. He joins his family for dinner, and Mika wonders how his plans to kill the vampires are going. Yuichiro asks if they have been alive this entire time, but they explain that they are of course all dead. They blame him for running away and worse, not getting revenge yet. Mika offers to lend his power, but only if Yuichiro accepts more revenge into his heart. Yuichiro is almost consumed by his desires for revenge, but explains that the real Mika would never say such things. He becomes enraged that someone has attempted to imitate his precious family, and wakes to find himself back with his friends. Shinoa is amazed to see that even though a demon was showing him hallucinations, Yuichiro was able to push it out without using a contract. Yuichiro is confident Gurren won't be able to ignore him now that he has encountered a demon, and Shinoa decides that Yuichiro should come to train there starting the next day. Yuichiro proudly proclaims to Mika that he will now learn how to kill a vampire and take revenge for his death. Elsewhere, Ferret speaks to someone and explains that they have found his precious friend Yuichiro. He reveals that he is being used by the dirty humans, and we see that the person he is talking to is actually Mika. Thanks for watching part 1, 10,000 likes and I'll know you want a part 2.